Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chai with Us podcast. This is episode number 63. I am Erica, the personal developer. You can also find me at Emotional Freedom.
Hi, and I'm Ivana from Local Isabel.
Hello, hello. Okay, so today we're going to talk about living in the present moment. I'm very excited, as you can see, because I like talking about things that I'm working in the moment. So it's
Yes.
like I feel so prepared right now because I've been having some issues. And as I am, I'm a personal developer, I'm a coach, so I like to tackle my problems. And that's what I'm doing right now. So this topic is amazing. It will help me for sure.
I agree with you too because this is something that I really struggle with, and so I understand where people are coming from when they cannot be present in the
Yeah.
moment. Do we want to start with defining like what do we mean by living in the present moment? What does that mean to you when I say it?
To me, is about being really like actually here at this exact moment and being
Mhm.
able to enjoy this moment that I'm living
Mhm.
right now
Mhm.
without, fantasizing or worrying too much about the future or
Mhm.
being saddened or, missing the past too much. That's what it
Mhm.
means to me.
I have exactly the same thing. I have been fully aware of this time right now and right here and not thinking about the past or the present or the future, but like and not wanting to be anywhere else because so many of us like don't like the moment we're in, so we're thinking about the past or we're projecting into the future. So it's being fully aware of what is happening here now and enjoying it.
Yeah, I've been noticing a friend that always says something like, you know what, in August this is going to be so much better. You know what, in December, like when it's Christmas, this is going to be so much better.
Yes.
And I think that I notice it. Like it's not like I don't do this. I think I
Mhm.
notice it because I'm noticing a part of myself that
Yes.
thinks that in the future things are going to get better,
Mhm.
right? Um,
Mhm.
so it's interesting to notice how we are always navigating between future and past, which is
Mhm.
normal. But if you spend too much time over there, either past or future, like you are missing life because life
Mhm.
doesn't happen in the past or in the future, it happens now. So it worries me not to be present because
Yeah.
I know when I get to August,
Mhm.
I'm I don't want to be thinking about July or December. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree. For me, I think it's almost like a defense mechanism because growing
Mm,
up in different cultures as a third culture kid, when I didn't like my present moment, I would just go inside my head and I lived in my own world where it was
yeah.
better and more comfortable because I understood. But when I was
Mm,
living in Germany, I didn't understand the language. And so I would just check out and I would just live in my head. And I think so many of us do that on a regular basis. So I
yeah.
think it's really difficult for some of us to live in the present moment.
It is, and there is something about the present moment that sometimes you just want to delay things.
Yes.
You don't want to deal with whatever is happening, so
Hmm.
we find a way of coping with it, and we're like, you know what, tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow will be better, and sometimes it's true, sometimes tomorrow is a better day for sure, but it's like it's not healthy to live day by day like this because at the end of the day you are not living at all, you are not living.
Mhm.
um why what's Well, I wanted this to be personal for some reason, I don't know,
Okay.
but like, I mean, our conversation, because I think I don't know, it may benefit people just to hear our experience and not like
Yes.
a lesson, or I don't know. But I
Uh-huh.
wanted to ask you, like, what's your problem? Why do you think it's difficult for you sometimes to live in the present moment? What happens in your head?
Well, I think for me, like I said before, I think it's a defense mechanism and that has become a habit.
Hmm.
And so when I'm in a situation that I don't like if I'm like standing there and two people are arguing and I don't like argument because like maybe as a kid I grew up around like people that were fighting and I like, I don't want to be in a situation, then I check out and I don't want to be in the present moment. So for me, I think it's because it was a defense mechanism that has become a habit. And
Okay.
now, like, it's like almost automatic, like for me to just like, if I'm in a situation that I don't like or that I don't want to be in, it's almost like subconscious. I don't even notice it. But all of a sudden, like, I'm transported somewhere else in my mind, and there it's safe, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Because in my head, no one is arguing and I feel
Makes
safe.
total
And
sense.
I can control like which, I can control like what I think the future is going to be, because it's just an illusion, right? Like the future hasn't happened yet. So I can make up anything in my head about what I think the future is going to be, because I have control.
Mhm.
And I somewhat control the past as well, because I choose to remember which aspects of the past I want to remember. So I'm in control when I'm thinking about the past and the future, and as opposed to in the present.
Wow, that was very raw. And I like your approach. Like, and I didn't see it like that. Like, you
Okay.
are in control. It's true
Mhm.
because you are in control of your imagination,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
You feel this false control because it's not control at all. It's just like
Yeah.
you disconnected completely for but I find it interesting because for me it happens in a different way. So I'm curious.
Okay.
You find yourself disconnecting from from the present moment only when you don't like the situation, because I find myself disconnecting from good things as well, just because I'm anxious
Okay.
for something that I'm looking forward to.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Well, I think for me it also happens, maybe like I've anticipated an event and I had it like to be amazing in my head, and then when the
Mhm.
event happens, it's not as amazing as I thought, and then I disconnect as well, because I'm disappointed by all what I thought it was going to be.
I think I've heard this in the Mind Valley Summit. I
Oh,
don't
really?
remember who said it. I
Okay.
think it was Christina Lakiani. I don't know, but the person was saying that we are actually happier when we are planning an event in
Yes.
anticipation that
Mhm.
at the event or when the thing happens. Like, isn't that
Yes.
crazy? Like, you are happier imagining it than actually living it. It's like scientifically proven. And I was
Well,
like, oh my
remember
God.
when like you're like in school and you're working towards graduation, and all you think about is like, oh, if I just get through this test and I get to graduation, I'm gonna be so happy. And if I get
Yeah.
through this test, I'm gonna be at graduation, I'm gonna be so happy. And then this moment that you've worked for like 4 years for finally arrives,
Yeah.
and it's like the biggest letdown. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe you're like happy for like a few minutes, but then to me it was a little bit of like a letdown, if that makes any sense. Like it wasn't what I
Yeah.
thought it was gonna be.
It totally makes sense because we make up stories and things that we think that are going to happen, and actually it's just another thing that you are going to accomplish, and you're
Yes.
going to do like check, and you're going to move on with your life. But then you look back and you'll be like, okay, so I spent 4 years
Yes.
waiting for this moment, and
Yes.
probably you didn't enjoy I don't know, your teachers, your
Mhm.
colleagues, or your classmates, and yeah, this is so much true. And for me it was interesting to listen to this perspective, like, you know what, we enjoy more thinking about it than actually being
Yes.
there. And it's
Mhm.
true because the moment, it lasts seconds, maybe an hour, but then that's
Mhm.
it. Maybe if
Mhm.
you are like me, you're like, okay, what is it that I can do next? Like, so,
Exactly. I'm like that too. It's like
right?
what's next?
What's
You know
next?
what I
Exactly.
found? I found that I'm much more present, or it's easier for me to be present when I'm doing something small, like a small task. For example, like I recently got into coloring mandalas, like with different
Mhm.
colors.
Yeah.
And when I'm doing that, I feel like I'm fully present in the activity that I'm doing. And it's so simple. There's nothing to it. You don't have to think about it. I mean, you think about like which color you're gonna do where,
Mhm.
but I feel like I'm fully present when I'm engaged in that activity, and it's such a small activity.
Yeah. For me, living in the present moment, it's hard sometimes because I am a very driven person
Mhm.
and I like to achieve things. And I
Yes.
like to say, like, 1 year from now, I am going to be in a different place. 1 year from now, I am going
Mhm.
to other do different things. So what
Okay.
happens to me sometimes is that I have this big vision of where I want to go, and I am aware that it will take me years to get there. And I do enjoy the
Mhm.
fact that it will take me years because I don't know what would I be without a vision and goals. I would
Mhm.
be miserable, I think. So I love the fact that I
Yes.
have a big vision. But for me, sometimes it takes me from the present moment because I'm always like, how can I be better? What can
Yes.
I do better? What do I have to do next? Oh, I didn't do this today, so I'm going to do this tomorrow. And I like
Mhm.
visualization. I like affirmations, and which is
Mhm.
like a very good thing. But then I'm I stop myself and I'm like, what are you doing, Erika? You are not
Mhm.
living the present moment. You have an amazing relationship. You love the
Mhm.
place you live. You live in a beautiful island, and you are
Mhm.
obsessed thinking about your goals. So from time to time, I had to stop myself and be like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, stop
Yes.
everything. Let's be here. Let's be now.
Mhm.
And I take action, and I take action because I don't
Mhm.
want to be one of these people that live for the future, because I already know how that works. Is
Mhm.
like we spoke before. I'll get there and I'll
Yes.
be like, okay, time to write that book. you know so yes, so that's my problem with the present moment. It's not only when it's negative, because I think that when it's negative situations, I usually try to suck it in, feel the
Mhm.
pain, sort it out, because I like to solve problems.
Yes.
So if there is something negative, I would most probably just try to sort it out. But my thing is just this: I like dreaming about things, and
Yeah.
it is
So
sometimes
let
that
me ask
I
you,
forget to be here.
when you're in a happy moment and things are going well, what do you think keeps you from being fully present? Because I struggle with this as well. Like, let's say, like, I am at graduation, everyone is smiling, and I'm excited I've accomplished this big deal. There's
Hmm.
something inside of me that's keeping me from being fully present or enjoying
Okay.
it. What do you think, or does that happen to you? Where do you think that comes
Yeah.
from?
Sometimes it happens to me. I think that it comes from a feeling of being unworthy,
Okay.
and also from not being good enough.
Mhm.
From it doesn't matter what you achieve. And I shared in this channel, in this podcast before, that I grew up in an environment where what I did was never enough, I
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah, so I do carry this mentality a little bit in my head, and sometimes I have to remind myself that what I do is good enough. Like, it's more
Mhm.
than good enough. Actually, I do a lot. But I think it's that sometimes I'm living a happy moment and I am like, okay, but this is going to be over soon.
Yes.
But this is too good to be true. Or,
Mhm.
or I'm like looking for the other thing because I need to achieve more in order to be worthy.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's that's where
Yeah.
I think my issues with the present
Mhm.
moment, when I'm living in
Yeah.
a happy situation. That's
I think for me, it's because we moved around so much that I know that I'm almost like scared to be happy because I know that it can be taken away or something can
yeah,
happen.
yeah,
Because, like, the first reason that we moved was because of war. So that was something that was not in our control at all. Like, we had to flee the country.
yeah.
And the second time we had to leave was because they were sending back all the immigrants. So again, that was not in our control. So I guess I grew up in an environment that showed me that you have no control over what can happen, and like your happiness can be taken away or it can be changed.
Hmm. Yeah, I have this. This is like a book. It's in Spanish,
Is
but
it the
it's The
power of
Power of
now?
Now.
I was going to talk about that. Yes.
I want to show this to everyone. Get this book.
Yes.
Seriously, this book is amazing.
Mhm.
This book would say, okay, right, you cannot control what is going to happen after, but what is happening now? Because
Mhm.
you have no idea what's going to happen after. That's true, but like right now, what is happening? Like,
Mhm.
leave what is happening. And
Yes.
I love that. Like, I don't know how many pages this
It's
book
not
has,
very
but
like you can also read it on an or you can listen to it on an audiobook on
oh my
YouTube.
God, but it's listen, like
Yeah.
every year I read this and I add notes, and I underline it because I really think it helps you put things in perspective.
Yes.
First of all, just realizing that life is not that serious, and
Mhm.
we are fantasizing about the future. You
In the
have no
past,
idea
yeah,
tomorrow.
exactly.
You said, well, this can be taken away, and I also have this feeling like this will
Mhm.
happen tomorrow, right? But like tomorrow you can be happier,
Yeah.
Why don't we think that tomorrow can be even better, right? We
Mm-hmm.
always think that, oh, tomorrow this will all be over.
Yeah.
And if it will be over, let's at least enjoy it, right?
Yeah, and I love what he says because he says that the present moment is the most precious moment because it's all we have. Like he
Yeah.
says that like there is no past and there's no future, they're just illusions. All we have is the here and the now. And so you might as well start enjoying and like living in it.
Yeah. I love this book. This book is a lecture on living in the present moment, and there is
Yes.
no way you read this book and you keep acting like you were acting. So
He also says, don't complain, adapt. And I love that because we're such, you know what I mean? Like, I think we're wired to complain about our environment and,
yes,
like, misery, what is it? Misery loves
loves
company or something
company.
like. Yeah.
Yes.
And so, like, if we complain, like you talked about that in the last podcast, like the pain buddy, like we love to complain, and then other people around us are complaining, and we're just in this negativity.
Mm-hmm.
But he says that all you can really do is accept the situation or leave it if you don't want to change it. That's all
Yes,
you
yes,
have.
yes. It says something like, if you don't like the situation, change it. And then if you can change it, just accept the situation. Or
Yes.
at least accept the situation until you can change it,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And yeah, love this book. Love it. Love it.
It's actually a really good book if you're first starting out on your spiritual journey because it's
Yep.
a great first book to read to introduce you to spirituality, and then you can go from there.
I think this was the one that really got me into my
Mhm.
journey and really acting on it and just
Mhm.
realizing how life works in general, and realizing this thing where I was, living and feeding from the past, and
Mhm.
avoiding to live in the present moment. It's really a good book. Totally recommended.
And I love what he also says. He says that when you accept what is going on now in your life, you're able to have power over how you respond to it and decide which emotions you want to feel. So it's actually not, you know how I started off the podcast talking about how I felt like I was in control because I could decide what my past was and what my future was. He says the opposite. He says that when you're actually in the present moment, that's when you're in control because you decide which emotions you want to
Yes.
feel.
Yeah. And even for setting goals, like as I said, I'm very driven, but nothing, it's good to have a vision, but if you want to achieve something in life, you have to think about, what is it that I can do now?
Yes.
It's not, what is it that I can do 5 years from now? You're never going to get anywhere
Yeah.
thinking about what is it that you can do 5 years from now. You have to think about, what is it that I can do today? What is it that I can do tomorrow? And that's it. That's
Hmm.
it. That's how you get somewhere. So yeah, mine is in Spanish, and I'm trying to look for quotes, but I'm gonna give up on it. Maybe one day we should do like a review on this book. I think it's gonna be a very
Yes, I
interesting
think we
episode.
should.
I think we should. I'm having ideas. Um,
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, how do you deal with this when you are having difficulties on staying present in the moment? What do you do?
I I think I try to come back to the breath. You always come back to your breath and you start to take deep breaths like inhale
Mm-hmm.
slowly and exhale slowly and you start to like, you know what I mean? I do that a couple of times
Mm-hmm.
until I can like recollect myself to be present. And
Mm-hmm.
I think, like going to court was always like scary to me at the beginning because I was afraid of what the judge was going to do and say. And so
Mm-hmm.
I would start to have like this panic attack and like it was this like fight or flight response going on inside my body.
Yeah.
And then I just had to go to the bathroom and just take a couple of deep breaths and come back to myself and
Yeah.
into my body. And after you take a breath, I start to feel like to feel your hands, your whole body, and to really try to like ground myself. I think that's very important is to ground yourself.
It is. It is. I think that meditation and breathing
Yes.
bring you to the present moment, no matter what. I also think that yoga helps you be in the situation and navigates the situations of life easier.
Mhm.
And what I'm doing right now is to, every day before I go to bed, amongst other things, I journal my
Yes.
gratitude moments of the day.
Mhm.
And I believe that gratitude is so grounding and immediately keeps you in the present moment and
Mhm.
reminds you of everything good that you have in your life now, right?
Mhm.
Because uh, as I said, my issue is just like thinking about my goals and how things are going to be and what I want to do. But
Mhm.
I do have a wonderful life right now. So I like to remind myself of that. And it may seem silly that I need to write these things now,
Mhm.
but we're human. We forget
Yeah,
about things.
it's true. Or we take them for granted.
Right, it's so true. And I notice an immediate change. Like I write, I journal about, I have a gratitude journal like for 3 days, and I
Mhm.
I feel myself being more grateful throughout the day
Mhm.
and being more like, you know what, that it doesn't matter what happens, life is good now. You know what,
Mhm.
just be patient. Everything's gonna be all
Yeah.
right. But life is good right now, so we're fine. If tomorrow life is good, we'll be fine. And I noticed my attitude towards life just changing completely, and even my anxiety towards achieving or not achieving my goals just
Mhm.
goes down like this.
Goes down. Yeah. Mhm.
And it's amazing. I'm loving this technique where I think that journaling,
Yeah.
everybody should journal.
I agree.
Any problem you have in your life, write it down, think about it. But I'm doing this thing where I journal about my gratitude moments, and in the
Mhm.
morning I wake up and I journal a little bit, and I do my affirmations for
Mhm.
the day, and that is working like crazy. I also meditate, and
Yeah. And
we
I
love
think
it.
dancing also, that's a form of meditation, and it's like one of the best things to be present in the moment, because like each movement is a form of meditation. And yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I did this practice the other day uh, in the Mind Valley Summit. Okay, and
Okay.
we did this flow flow state movement class,
Okay.
and it was so liberating. And it's amazing how movement can help
Mhm.
you in your life, and how that's why I love yoga, because these movements, they stay in your body. And in this
Mhm.
flow state exercise, we were like walking in a way, where we were flow state.
Mhm.
And it was amazing because the next day I was like, walking differently, and even intentionally, when I was
Okay.
feeling like this anxiety growing, I was like, no, you are flow state, and I was walking and I felt so good. And you are right, movement is amazing. Dancing, it liberates things,
Yeah.
vibrations, and it's yeah, it's very good advice. I like it,
Mhm.
and
Do you
laugh
have
about
anything
it.
else? I don't know that I have
I do,
anything
I
else.
do. I
Okay.
think that life isn't that serious, and we should be
Yes.
reminded of that, right? We all gonna die.
Mhm.
And life isn't that serious. And sometimes we think, when I say we, I'm like including myself completely.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that what I do is the most important thing in the world, and
Mhm.
it is to some extent, but it's not. It's just
Mhm.
I'm just the spirit. I'm here for a temporary time. I can die tomorrow, and for me that's
Mhm.
not bad. For me that's a motivation. I can die tomorrow, so might as well just enjoy the day today, because tomorrow we never know. So that's why
Yeah.
all we have is this moment. Like the rest
Mhm.
doesn't exist, is in our minds. Like even the past is not how we imagine it. It's
Yeah, it's
not.
true.
It's true. We have memories, we have stories,
Mhm.
but it's in the past. The only thing that
Mhm.
exists is this moment.
Yeah. Sometimes when we're about to start a new event in our life, we tend to think and like think about the past as it was better than it really was, and it wasn't, because we forget about the hard times. We just think about like all the highlights, and we're like, "Oh, I want to go back to where I was in the past," and
Yeah,
that's not really what happened.
that's
I think
one thought I
everything in
never
life
had.
has good and bad moments. You know what I mean? But it just depends on
Yes.
like what you focus on.
True, yeah, true story, true story. But that's one thing I have and I like. I never want to go back to the past.
Okay.
I'm like, I look back, but it's just like to look for examples that didn't work. I'm like, don't want to do that again. But yeah, but I think I'm more of a future person. But I'm working on it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
See.
Is that a wrap?
I think so. Oh, like some things that you can do to like help you live in the present moment is to start try something new.
Ah,
because when it's new, like you're fully engaged in the activity and you're fully present in the moment. So try something new, maybe like coloring, pick that up, try a new dance class, maybe a
mhm.
yoga if you've never tried yoga before. So anything that's new, or even cook a new recipe. That's a very simple, because then you have to be fully present. You have to read the recipe and cook at the same time. So you'll be living in the present moment.
Yeah, that's beautiful advice. That's beautiful. I think that mindfulness works for this because mindfulness is about living in the present moment and
Hmm.
applying mindfulness to everything, to from the way you eat to the way you talk to people.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's so easy to listen to people talk and just completely, sometimes I'm talking to someone and I'm holding my phone and I'm like, what I'm doing? What am I doing? Am I here or am I on my phone? I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, so practice mindfulness. And it doesn't need to be perfect because we're not perfect. We're human. Life isn't that serious. We got that
Hmm.
part. So I think it's a matter of noticing
Hmm.
when you
Yes.
are, when you are going to a different planet and try to see what is happening. Why do you do that? And
Hmm.
just change it. Use breath, as Ivana said. And if you are having a minor crisis, just journal it. And that's
Hmm. Yeah. What are you drinking?
mm, I'm drinking a delicious rooibos and citric tea.
Oh, that sounds
Um,
nice.
so good, so good, yummy.
I am
And
having a ginger kombucha with orange juice.
oh my god, you're so fancy. I like kombucha. I'm a fan of kombucha now, but I'm not going to comment what happens to me when I drink kombucha. I shared a lot too. I shared too much already. Okay, everyone. I think that's a wrap. If you want, let us know what you thought of this episode and let us know what is it that you do to keep yourself in the present moment. Maybe we'll learn
Mhm.
something new, a new technique. I would love to hear from you. Do you want to ask
Yeah.
something to our audience?
No, I think you did a good job. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I never ask questions. I'm always waiting for you to ask the right questions. I felt inspired today. So that's it, everyone. Like this episode if you like, share it with someone if you would love, and shout out to
Yeah.
people on Spotify. Sometimes I remember to go and see if there are any people on Spotify, and we have people on Spotify.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening to us, and see you
Sounds
next week.
good. Bye.
Bye.